Hey everybody, Blugoblin here for a massive comic book review video. Hope this doesn't drag on too long because there's a lot to talk about. Big old stack, got a lot of indies and a couple of surprise guests, one maybe not a surprise, and then we're going to end on a bit of a rant. So this is going to be an episode you aren't going to want to miss. Set these right down here. We're going to start with the indies. We're going to start off with Boundless Comics. Now this is not a new book. This is a back order because I was interested in it. Belladonna, issue 0. Yeah, it's one of those kinds of books. It's for adults only. Do not ever, 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 ever let your child read this book. Long story short, this is basically Red Sonja, just bloodier, more violent, and with lots and lots of sex. It's pretty much it, but as cheeky as that sounds, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if that's how shit really was back in those, medieval times, I'm sorry. It's like Red Sonja on the adult channels mixed with some Mortal Kombat like killings. It's just really, really violent, really vulgar, but you know what? It was fun. I liked it. Yeah, who knew? Maybe I'm just a sick son of a bitch. But this gets a 3.5. Not really much to say about it. Chapter House Comics, now we're up to Captain Canuck number 6. Wow, this is the conclusion of this first story arc here, involving the main antagonist, Mr. Gold. Canuck finds his brother and rescues him. We see that his partner, Quebec, is fatally wounded and she's bleeding out, and she tried to stitch herself up, but during the fight, her stitches burst. And once the heroes finally find a way out and they confront Mr. Gold, oh, damn. This was a pretty good issue. Pretty good conclusion, and it leaves the door open for, a minor spoiler here. The way this story ended, it leaves the door open for this villain to possibly return. And I always like that sometimes. Well, always like that sometimes. That doesn't sound right. Most of the times, I like that. I like it when a comic book series, gets rid of a villain, but leaves the door open for them to come back. Because if you kill a villain off and then bring them back later, we need to know how that bullshit happens. And here, I didn't see any bullshit, in that sort of respect. So this was good. The second story was also pretty good too, but I prefer the first story better. This was a strong issue. Not much to say. Don't want to spoil too much. Don't want to spoil more than I possibly already have. I'll give it a 3.5 as well. Alright, going on to IDW with Back to the Future number 4. I think this was originally supposed to be the last issue of the miniseries before it got extended onto an ongoing. But in here, we get to learn a few things. We get to learn how Marty and Jennifer, connected. We also get to see how Doc Brown was able to afford a hover conversion and a Mr. Fusion in the year 2015 in the future. Go figure. And I just don't have the heart to ruin it. It is so damn funny. But when you think about stretching your disbelief on time travel and all that shit, and when you see what he does, I'll be goddamn. I would have done the same thing. Maybe not for a hover conversion or a Mr. Fusion, but if I had a chance to do what Doc Brown does in this issue, I'd have done it without hesitation. You know, there's always that fear of screwing up the future, the space-time continuum and stuff like that, but I mean, if you read this issue and you see what Doc Brown does, can you really blame him? But then again, at the same time, it makes Doc Brown look like a hypocrite. Because what he does in here, he badgers Marty for having a similar idea in the second movie. So there's all kinds of stuff to admire and nitpick at the same time. It is what it is. This also gets a 3.5. Pretty good issue. Okay, sticking with IDW, we got My Little Pony Friendship is Magic number 38. Yes, I read My Little Pony. I'm a brony. Why? Because I can't believe it's not butter, that's why. Yeah, this was a pretty strong issue. I don't know what the deal here is with this, but it's good to see Snips and Snails in here. This is basically a Cutie Mark Crusaders story, and it's what you would come to expect from the Crusaders if you follow the series, if you follow the cartoon. You know, their rivalry with Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon and all that bullshit. But it's the same stuff that this franchise praises, the power of friendship and blah 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 blah. But overall, pretty good. Certainly not the strongest issue out of the series that I've read so far, and I didn't really expect it to be that strong coming off the Siege of the Crystal Empire storyline. But it was good for what it was. I liked it. It gets a 3.5 as well. Here it is, folks. Now, before I review this, there's something I need to do first. Hold on a second. It's Morphin time. Tyrannosaurus! Oh yeah! Totally energized and ready to go. Let's do it. Talking about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 0 from Boom Studios. Right. To everybody who worked on this, you did a great job. Very nicely done. Awesome work. Righteous. So we open up the story, and the first thing we see is Tommy standing over the fallen dead bodies of the Power Rangers. But then we find out, minor spoiler, is that he was just dreaming. He was daydreaming while on his way to school with Jason, with the Red Ranger. But overall, I gotta say, this was very, very faithful to the franchise. I really felt like I was looking at like a lost episode of the original series. Really, really good job. I like the fact that there are moments where the team doesn't exactly get along at times. More of a spark of realism there. It was really refreshing to see that they're not always goody-goody buddy-buddy all the time anymore. Really nicely done. And I also like the fact that the Rangers are able to finish off a monster without the use of a big hunkin' sword. I like that. Really good stuff. This was very faithful to the original Power Rangers. And I think any die-hard fan of the old school MMPR would really appreciate this. So do yourselves a favor and power up. Get out your morphers and let the power protect you. More phenomenal job, Boom Studios. Really well done. Red Ranger, power down. Whew, what a rush. This little thing packs a wallop. But yeah, what I said while I was morphed, it's true. It's really good stuff. Alright, going on to Dynamite. Red Sonja number 1, Volume 3 number 1, with Marjorie Bennett on the writing, and Anaki's artwork is really good. I'm sorry if I butchered that other name, the artist's name, but I also love that cover. That cover is really awesome. I like this new direction for Red Sonja. I mean, is this gonna measure up to Gail Simone's run? It's too early to say that. It's too early to say yes or no at this point. I think once this volume has run its course, then we can maybe compare it to Gail's run. But, you know, considering Gail's run was pretty damn spectacular, Marjorie Bennett's got quite a load on her shoulders with this character. But as a beginning, I think she does a good job. Really good. Stays true to the character. I do miss Sonia being a raging alcoholic, because Gail did such a great job with that plot point, with that particular character development trait for Sonia. And I also have the feeling that Sonia is bisexual, because Gail definitely gave me that impression. But in here, you know, Sonia talks about her many battles, her many lovers. She didn't say her many romps with men. She specifically put down her many lovers. So that brings the question, is this character indeed a bisexual character? And if she is, I'd like to see that particular trait further well, I wouldn't say exploited, but further developed. It doesn't have to be Gail Simone or Marjorie Bennett that does it, but if somebody's willing to stretch that out, I'd like to see where you can go with that. But that's not the most important thing for this character. The most important thing is that she remains true of what she is, the she-devil with a sword. And she's given quite a damn interesting offer in this book. Probably one of the highest offers she's ever received in her life. And here's the shocker. She refuses it. Now, what she's offered and why she refused it, I'm not going to give that away. Plus, I'm not going to give away the ending of the issue. Really good. This was a fantastic beginning to what I'm hoping is a good run from Miss Bennett. Really good. I'll go so far as to give it a 4. Maybe I'm overrating it. Who knows? But it's just me. Going on to DC. We're starting DC off with a crossover with IDW. Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #2 of 6. I watched my bro Chris review the first issue, and I had to agree with him on one thing he said. I too was also hoping that they wouldn't have Batman outfight the Turtles and make them look like chumps, and God damn it, that's exactly what the fuck happened in this issue. There's a misunderstanding. I've never seen that in a comics team up before. There's a misunderstanding, and the Turtles engage a battle with Batman. And big fucking shock, Batman easily walks through them. 4 Masters of Ninjutsu against a man in a bat suit, and the man in the bat suit, while he himself is also an expert in martial arts, it's 4 ninjas against 1 ninja. They all fight with honor, and Batman just blows right through him. That pissed me off to no end. And when Master Splinter jumps in, even Splinter has a tough time, seemingly tough time, standing up against Batman. What the fuck? That moment in this book is, to me, is another perfect example of just how much DC Comics sucks on that Batcock. That pissed me off to no end. But I'm glad that they put that misunderstanding aside, and they started to, they got away, and hopefully they'll get that bullshit aside and learn to work together and blah, blah, blah. We know that's going to happen. But I loved how the Shredder was done in here. Despite that epically bullshit moment at the beginning of the book, this was still not that bad. Really good stuff, and we find out something is very, very wrong with the Turtles. And I don't want to give that away. This was good. Despite the bullshit, I still enjoyed reading the rest of it. But I'm just telling you, when you pick this up and read it, if you haven't read it yet, I'm warning you. The beginning of this book will piss you off. Unless you love Batman and don't exactly love the Turtles. If that makes any sense. It barely gets a 3.5 because of the bullshit at the beginning. See that? Mm-hmm. You know he's here. You're up. Hello, everyone. It's been a long time since I've been on camera. The last time I had an opportunity to be on this show, I refused because I was disappointed with a representation of my world. But I'm going to talk about this one, Earth 2 Society number 8. Last issue I was too disappointed to be on camera. I didn't feel like there was anything to say. But now I have something to say. I'm very disappointed in you, DC. As a citizen of Earth 2, I would expect you to do a much better job than this. You've done better jobs than this before. Why all of a sudden a sudden change? Why do I feel like this series that represents my world is going in a downward spiral? If the series continues to go in the direction that it's going right now, I honestly don't see it being around that much longer. And that really hurts me. And I'm not a guy that likes to be hurt. We have this new Justice Society, and they're already molding into that stereotype of gods casting judgment and the feel that they need to watch over the people that they swear to protect. Such a shame. I would have thought that with a different title, that you could easily take in a different direction. You would steer away from that god-awful stereotype that has cast its shadow over different variations of the Justice League or the Justice Society. And then you take Green Lantern, Alan Scott. You take his character and you switch it to where he seems very uninteresting. Such a pity. I expected better from you, DC. I know you can do better than this. You've proven that you can do better time after time after time. You need to step it up, DC. This was very disappointing. The only stuff that was actually captivating was the stuff involving Fury and Kendra, Hawkgirl. Other than that, I'd say this issue was very forgettable. But that's just my humble and honest opinion. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. As for the score, I don't know what my counterpart would score this, but I would say this came off as what he would call, I'd say the phrase goes like, average read at best, 2.5. I'd say it fits around that category. Thank you very much. Farewell, my friends. I have a feeling he's not going to want to stick around much longer if this continues to go down. I got to agree. I got to agree with him. This is becoming a bit of a disappointment for me. I expect so much better. Earth 2 used to be one of my favorite titles to read a couple years ago, and now there are times I can barely tolerate it. I don't know how much more faithful I can be to that series. Alright, speaking of faithfulness, Starfire number 8. I've always tried to stay faithful to Starfire. I put on my Twitter account that, Starfire was my first superheroine. And you never forget your first, right? Starfire will always have a place in my heart. I will always love this character. And, it's like, I've always loved Starfire. I know my bro Chris loves Starfire. Hell, there's a girl in this issue who openly says that she would turn lesbian to get a shot at Starfire. I'm dead serious. It actually happens in this issue. But I think the term this girl used was she would switch sides for a shot at that. And then she was like, oh my god, I just said that out loud. I'm serious. That actually happened. It made me giggle. That was funny. You know, I'm not saying lesbianism is funny. I'm just saying that moment was funny. But yeah, this was good. This was Starfire and Dick Grayson working together. Seeing them together, even though I knew it wasn't going to last. I knew for a fact that it wasn't going to last really long. It was not going to last, and then hell, I'm not really surprised. Minor spoiler, this partnership ended at the end of the issue. But it was good to see them together again, because there's just something about Dick and Starfire that it just seems to work. You know, nobody can do it better than Marv Wolfman, but given the chance, I think any writer can actually pull it off if they put enough heart into it. I mean, this was good. This was good. I dug it. I enjoyed it. Not much else to say. I like Atlee. I think she had a pretty good moment in here. Good stuff. Gets a 3.5. Oh my god. Superman American Alien #3. I came really close to making this my pick of the week because it was so fucking entertaining. The title of this issue is Parrot, and it's easy to see why once you read it. This was hilarious. This was outstanding. This was good. Clark crashes into an ocean. I think he's on a plane or a helicopter or something like that, and it crashes into the ocean, and he finds a boat, and he climbs aboard this boat, and everybody thinks he's Bruce Wayne because he happens to be on a party boat for Bruce Wayne's 21st birthday party. And because he just happens to look like Bruce Wayne, everybody thinks he's Bruce Wayne. We see Oliver Queen, we see Sue Dibney, we see Victor Zsasz in here. And no, it's not the criminally insane Victor Zsasz. Victor Zsasz is there as a guest, and he's there partying along with everybody else. It's this sane Victor Zsasz. And he also, Clark, hooks up with a young lady by the name of Barbara Minerva before she goes cheetah. This was good. This was good, and I have to spoil this because I just have to. The ending of the issue culminates with Clark, due to something that was slipped into his drink, he gets drunk, and seeing drunk Clark Kent was hilarious. And you see drunk Clark Kent going up against Deathstroke in this book. And Deathstroke even believes that this Bruce Wayne, and he's like, Bruce Wayne, you're Bruce Wayne. And he's like, and I love the way the writing is done. The speech bubbles is like in drunkenese, and he's like having trouble pronouncing the words and stuff. And Deathstroke's just wailing on him with his sword, and the sword's bending and breaking. And Clark grabs the sword, and he snaps it, and he goes, uh-oh, Sardborkin. And he takes his finger, he's like, you go, flick. And he like launches Deathstroke like 5 or 6 miles out in the ocean. It was so fucking great. I'm sorry I spoiled that for you, but I still say you need to read this issue to get Sardborkin. Oh, I can't get over this. This was great. This easily gets a 4, maybe even a 4.5. Fuck it, I don't care. This was great. Oh, woo! Oh. Alright. You know what? Fuck it. I'm making that my pick of the week. Superman American Alien. That's my pick of the week. It's my show. I'm fucking doing it. Going on to Marvel. All new, all different Avengers #3. Mark Waid, God bless you, man. This was great. This is the conclusion of the storyline involving the Chitauri and everything. His name, the villain's name is Warbringer, and you know he's connecting these pieces of an ancient artifact and open a portal to the Chitauri planet, to the Chitauri home world or whatever. And I love the way they win the battle in here. It's like down to the very second, quite literally, on how you win this fight. And I love the way the issue ends with Nova is being questioned for something involving Warbringer, but Tony makes it official. This particular lineup is now considered officially an Avengers team, and I like that. I actually like this team. They don't always get along, but when they do get along, they work well together. This was good. The epilogue made me go, whoa! And I was like, yeah, that's got Mark Waid's fingerprints all over it. The epilogue was awesome, too. This was good. This was a solid issue. I really loved it. Nicely done. Easy 4. Maybe even a 4.5. It was really good. All new Wolverine #4. Tom Taylor. Fucking awesome writing. But yeah, this is Wolverine taking her sisters, her clones, to Doctor Strange. And Doc is able to use the Eye of Agamotto to scan them and see what he can do for them. He sees a pure innocence, one that's not so good, and one that's just downright hateful and wants to kill him, and stuff. And shit's going off the scale, and something happens in here where Strange and the girls have to work together to solve a problem that one of the clones started, and just all kinds of just really, really good stuff. Solid storytelling, solid character development. I love the scene where Laura asked Strange to use the Eye of Agamotto on her, and when he sees, he goes, wow, you're nothing like Logan. You're able to keep all that anger and all that rage so bottled up so well. He's like, you were the right person to take Logan's place. And I was like, my sentiments exactly. This was good. But we find out what's causing the clones to be dying, so to speak, and what Strange suggests at the end of the issue. I was like, okay, I like to see where this goes. This was a good issue. Not perfect, but I liked it for what it was. It was a solid read. I enjoyed it. And Laura's winning me over as Wolverine. I mean, she really is. She's doing a good job. And Taylor's doing a good job of writing this stuff. And Lopez's artwork is also really good. This was a solid read. I enjoyed it. This gets easy at 3.5. Alright. All new X-Men #3. Hopeless and Bagley. Just really good stuff. Yeah, the Ghosts of Cyclops are just a bunch of dumb fucking kids that don't know what the hell they're doing. It's like they're following a guy that's dead, and, it's like it's a group of mutants along with the X-Men. They get confronted by policemen, and it's like Thirst, the one that barfs water. He's like, Cyclops would never turn himself in. He would stand and fight. And young Cyclops, young Scott, is like, yeah, that's why Cyclops is dead now. I was like, oh, boom. It's like, I'm surprised he didn't whisper biatch at the end of that sentence. That was good. This was really good. He should have whispered that. That would have been more badass. But I liked how it wraps up. They're able to strike a compromise after yet another fucking speech by a mutant about how humans should accept mutants or not fear all mutants and everything. How many fucking lectures for mutants do we need to hear? It's like this is starting to become repetitive now because I just saw it. I saw it in another X-Men title that I'm fixing to talk about here shortly, and I'm seeing it here. I was like, how many fucking lectures do the X-Men need to spit out to get through to these numbskull humans before a message is finally captured? You know, it is what it is. The last page I wasn't really feeling it, because I'm like, the last page involves a character that has been more of a joke than a serious threat at times. But it was a decent issue for what it was. This also gets a 3.5. Extraordinary X-Men number 5, Jeff Lemire, Humberto Ramos. This was also really good. Okay, minor spoiler. The last issue gave us a cliffhanger with supposedly the return of Cyclops as a inhuman mutant mixture. No, it's actually a clone of Cyclops with inhuman DNA. Okay, that's fine, because that fits Sinister's character, because he's obsessed with cloning, you know, and scientifically fucked up experiments. You know, it's true to his character. But I loved who dealt with Sinister, because I felt like that was the right person to deal with him. Yeah, I like that. Good stuff in here, good action. I really like this team up. I really like this lineup. And it ends pretty well. But it also ends with yet another lecture from Storm. We got a lecture from Cyclops in the all-new X-Men book, and here we get a lecture from Storm, from humans to mutants, saying humans should not hate all mutants and all that stuff. It is what it is. A solid issue, a solid read, and a nice awe moment at the end. It was good. Gets a 3.5. Guardians of the Galaxy number 4, Bendis, Shitey. Sorry if I butchered the artist's name. This was also really good. Like this. I liked how they dealt with the last accuser and all that stuff, but there was another thing I was really thankful for. I was thankful that they didn't kill off Gamora, because reading this issue I was thinking, oh God, are they really going to have the balls to do it? Thankfully, minor spoiler, they didn't do it. Gamora is still alive. But if I had... The only other thing I will say about this issue is that if I had to sum it up in 3 words, it would probably be... Yeah! Aw, shit. Because that's how this was. It's like, the Guardians, not going to ruin how it happens, but they get a victory only to turn around and get into another war with another threat. It's just, fuck, we can't get a break kind of moment. You know, it's one of those deals. And I like it. You know, the team's getting exhausted, especially in this issue. Good stuff. Gets an easy 3.5, maybe even a 4. Really loved it. I'm warning you now. This is going to be a hell of a rant, and there's going to be lots of spoilers in this review. You have been warned. Shitty Wars number 9. Where the fuck do I begin? First, I want to say I'm thankful that this storyline is finally fucking over. Because Marvel took their sweet time getting this shit finished, and by the time the conclusion was here, we're showing shit in this issue that we already know happens. We already know Doom's face is healed. We already knew Miles Morales got his mother back. We already knew this stuff. We already knew Reed and Sue are gone by the end of this issue. We already knew this. But here's another thing that really makes my blood boil. I did something that I don't usually do, but I do it from time to time, every once in a while. And as I'll go online and I'll look at other reviews of certain books, you know, see how things level out, see if I'm the only one that likes or hates a certain book, you know. But I just typed in Secret Wars number 9 review. That's all I did. And I just see a list of websites and everything about how people just absolutely loved this issue. And there was one page in particular that I should know better by now, that these people can't review anything for shit. And that's IGN. IGN, I clicked on your fucking website and I went on there and it said, and I couldn't believe I saw this, Secret Wars number 9, 10 out of 10, a masterpiece. Masterpiece my ass. What the fuck were you reading? Was it this? If this is what you consider a masterpiece, IGN, I got news for you. That ain't sugar in your coffee, that's fucking cocaine. The hell's the matter with you? This a masterpiece? Bullshit! Bullshit! This whole story overall, and I'm talking about just the 9 issues main story. I'm not talking about the tie-ins or one-shots or nothing like that. I'm talking about just the 9-issue story. This. Figuratively, the whole story was basically Victor Von Doom going around figuratively telling everybody, I got a huge dick, call me God. And then at the end of the story in here, you see Reed Richards judging Doom for basically calling himself God and proclaiming himself to be a god. But then by the end of the issue, that's exactly what the fuck he does. He plays God by reshaping the universe in a way that he feels it should be shaped into. It makes Reed Richards look like a fucking hypocrite, and it also makes Doom look like a doofus because Doom has trouble contesting with Reed Richards, yet earlier on in the story he was able to easily kill a Phoenix Force infused Cyclops. There's just so many things wrong with this story. It was boring, it was dull, there was no captivation, there was pitiful character development, and the storyline dragged on. And hell, there were some points where even the artwork wasn't really that good. It's like, how many pages of blank whiteness did we get in this storyline? How many times did we see Doom as God everywhere? It's like, if I can really think off the top of my head, I think the only thing in this main story that actually captivated my attention, and I shit you not, I'm being serious here. The only thing that captivated my attention that I could think of right off the top of my head is Peter Parker and Miles Morales bickering about an old hamburger. I'm dead fucking serious. That is literally the only thing I can remember off the top of my head that actually captivated me, made me go, huh, that's pretty cool. The rest of the story was sucks. Pointless deaths, dragged out, dull moments, way too much fucking talking, not enough action to support the storytelling. This is a storyline that will forever go down for me as a vastly overrated and underwhelming piece of goddamn shit. Now, usually I say if you love this story, then that's fine. I got no problem with that. But now I have to make an exception. If you love this story, I honestly have to question, what the fuck were you reading? You know, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be a dick. I just don't understand why some people just love this story. I felt nothing. And for all the people, some of them are good friends of mine. They told me, and one of them is, you know, my good friend Serena, the Princess of Geeks here on YouTube. She said that she understands that I'm a collector, and since I started it, I might as well finish it. She stopped reading it halfway through, and you know what, Serena, if you're watching this, sweetie, I do not blame you. I don't blame you for stopping. You know, if I could go back and stop myself from buying this shit, I would have. This was crap. The whole storyline was crap. The whole storyline was boring. This is one of Jonathan Hickman's worst. And the conclusion was overrated, contradictory, and just plain out miserable. I'm sorry. I don't care. I hated Secret Wars. I'm glad it's over. Let's get the fuck on. And now that I've read this, now that I've finished it, I'm making a promise right here and now. If Jonathan Hickman ever does another event storyline for Marvel again, I promise you I will not fucking buy it. Because of this. What a waste of my money and what a waste of my goddamn time. 1 out of 5. I don't fucking care. That story, overall, piece of shit. There's your review, everybody. I hope you liked that rant. And I hope you liked this episode. And I apologize for ending this episode or video on such a horrible note. I really do. And I apologize if I actually offended anybody who actually liked Secret Wars. You know, I may have to contradict myself and apologize if you did like this story. You know, it's just, it is what it is. I'm brutally honest, and sometimes I tell it like it is. If I think a book sucks, even if it involves my favorite hero of all time, Spider-Man, if the book sucks, then I'm going to say it. It sucks. Oh well. Hope y'all enjoyed this review, everybody. Please subscribe to this channel. Don't forget Blugoblin X, as well as Arkham Asylum Studio. You know my buds, TheMtVernonKid, Deadpoolzilla, and Braden Hex. The links will all be in the description below, as always. At Arkham Asylum Studio, we're still doing the Your Toy Box thing. We got another one coming up here very soon, I hope. Yeah, follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, Facebook, or stick with me here on YouTube. Do whatever you want. It's up to you. It's your life. You can do what you want. Thanks again for watching, everybody. I am Groot. May the power protect you all. I'll see y'all later.